Good evening, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center with a special report as we're tracking some very dangerous storms in towards southeastern Missouri right now. We've had a few different tornado reports coming on in here. Things kind of getting pretty chaotic with some different information that we're getting. I know I have some relatives in that area trying to keep them up to date here. I interned in this area, so very familiar with the heartland here. And tornado warnings continuing. We had a tornado there southeast of Farmington being confirmed here just a little while ago. So a dangerous situation there. We're now getting information that that tornado is still on the ground east of Kaufman. That's the same storm that we were tracking in the Farmington area a little while ago. So this is going to be headed more towards St. Mary here in St. Genevieve County than versus areas there over the Perry County line, it looks like now. So that's what we're seeing within the latest radar scans as this tornado here is showing up in our debris tracker at least a little bit. Now toward the south around Fredericktown here, I know we have a tornado warning here. Weather Service calling this a large and extremely dangerous tornado in the Fredericktown area. So folks need to be in shelter there. This is a tornado warning for northern Madison here and southeastern St. Francis counties. And then we have a tornado warning here toward Annapolis. A couple of them, one there as we get further up in Iron County, also including parts of Reynolds and Madison, and then another tornado warning here for parts of Iron and Madison. This is radar indicated here with this one to the south, but it's something to really watch as we have different areas of concern here. Weather Service now talking about this intensification, other rotation here around Fredericktown. It's pretty clear within the radar echoes, unfortunately, so folks there need to get into their safe places as a potentially strong tornado is headed into town. I know I wanted to come on here because this is rising to that national level threat. I know don't quite have that moderate tornado risk per se, which is my general criteria, but really thought it was important based on getting some different debris signatures and an area I'm pretty familiar with. I thought it was important for me to come on here to give you guys the latest. Again, watching 3 different areas. We were hoping this would be more of a line formation here, so we would be talking more about a damaging wind versus a tornado threat, because a tornado threat here unfortunately could be quite nasty in some spots based on just the parameters coming together at the wrong times in the wrong communities here versus maybe just in rural spots. So we just got to be careful. Of course, we're monitoring it for everybody, but we got to be really careful because that storm near Fredericktown, I know that's pretty highly populated area. Got to be watching them. Got to be watching St. Mary here in towards St. Genevieve County right now, close toward Randolph and Perry counties there as well. Of course, Randolph in Illinois. But again, watching this tornadic situation. I know I'm trying to just keep up to date on everything that's going on. We're watching, of course, scenario on the West Coast. Extremely low pressure there, causing some pretty nasty conditions. So let me go ahead and give you guys an update on that. Then we'll probably take a quick break as I gather some more information. But let me go ahead and go on over here. We have flash flood warnings in Northern California. We have seen quite a bit of action there. A lot of rain really hanging around. Day we don't normally get necessarily too much rainfall here typically, but this day is a different one. So again, just got to be cognizant of that flash flooding potential. But again, we have tornadic concerns here in southeastern Missouri and 3 tornado watches. But the concern right now is really focused here in areas where these storms, though they are still isolated and able to kind of feed on the energy a little bit better, they maybe are trying to become a little more conglomerated, which might weaken that tornado threat down some. But right now, that tornado threat is significant here. Tornado warnings, one for Perry County, Missouri until 9:30 Central Time. One here for Madison and St. Francis until 9:15 Central Time. Another one for Randolph, Illinois and St. Genevieve, Missouri until 9:15 Central Time. Iron, Madison, and Reynolds until 9 o'clock Central Time. And then one there for Iron and Madison until 9:15 Central Time. So we're really, though, again, watching 3 circulations here. One here to the south. That one right now close toward Annapolis there in Missouri. Another one really strong west of Fredericktown. And then a third one that's going to be getting closer towards St. Mary here over the next little bit. So I'm going to take some time here to gather some new information. Be back in just a moment. These circulations here, I know that one there near Kaufman moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. That one close toward Fredericktown, moving northeast at 40, and then the third one here, moving there east at about 35, according to the Weather Service in the last update there, and that's going to be in that Annapolis area. So gathering more information here again. There's circulation number 1 right there, north there of Annapolis, 1 right near Fredericktown, and then a third one there not far from St. Mary near Interstate 55. So stay tuned. I'll be back in just a moment with more information. Back with you now here in the Weather Center, still gathering more information. I know a lot going on right now in terms of the overall big picture. The biggest threat is near Fredericktown here right now. So let me go ahead and pop up our other source. Once again, you can see really tight rotation there as we're looking north of Fredericktown, getting there some of those brighter blues and brighter reds there. And as we go to debris tracker, a debris signature may be popping up there. So got to be really cognizant of what's happening. Folks need to be in shelter if they're in the path of these storms here this evening. Going back up toward the north, the circulation here about to cross Interstate 55 in parts of southern St. Genevieve County. We're not seeing maybe as tight of a circulation as we saw earlier as the debris signature really not popping on out right now. So maybe this is not actually on the ground. That'd be good news. But as I say that just intensified once again here. So they're watching things, and now looks like a circulation intensifying as at least one of those does enter Illinois. So parts of Illinois, so tornado warnings being drawn up for areas around Marissa, Illinois right now as I broaden that view back out. But again, tracking things, 3 areas of circulation that are really of concern. The worst of the 3, again, around Fredericktown. That's a tornado warning for parts of Madison and St. Francis counties here in Missouri until 9:15 Central Time. At 8:55, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado is located near Junction City, moving northeast at about 30 miles an hour. Now getting information that a house was completely destroyed there on Old Fredericktown Road south of Farmington by this storm there that's moving toward St. Mary. So got to be really careful here. Got to be really cognizant as we are tracking things. New tornado warning now for Clinton as well as Randolph County there, and as well as even St. Clair and Washington and Illinois now until about 9:45 local time. So. Watching the situation as we look up toward the north a little bit. You can see that's over there a little bit further up there in the state. So that's something to kind of be watching for there with a spin. So we now have 4 different areas of spin that are a pretty big concern here. This one not as tight, but around Marissa, Illinois. This one's really tightening up around St. Mary. So take south of around I-55 there and St. Mary, even in northern Perry County to be on the safe side. I'm hoping this may stay just over that line, but it's going to be a close call here as that is kind of still updating and so on. That's something that we don't really want to see. So continue to watch that storm there. But the bigger concern right now is toward Fredericktown. I know, again, watching the storm toward the south as well here. East Annapolis is really tight with the rotation, meaning we could have a stronger tornado that could destroy or damage more homes here, unfortunately, as we were hearing about Weather Service time at that St. Mary storm. So I'm going to go ahead and gather some more details and be back here in just a moment. Back with you now here in the Weather Center, still gathering more information. A lot of things happening as I'm talking to you. I'm just seeing so many different reports come on in here. We have now a large and extremely dangerous tornado there near Womack toward Madison and St. Francis counties now. That one moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. So we really got to be cognizant of what's happening here as we're tracking things. I know we have so many different areas of spin here in this setup. So just trying to get an idea of exactly what is going on here. Again, we're talking about right now with the confirmation at least this area of debris showing up northeast of Fredericktown. Also, we're watching an area there, not showing debris yet, but near St. Mary. Really tight rotation now. It was weakening and it's now strengthening though. That is a tornado that definitely could be underground, not confirmed at the moment. But then this area here though is something else that Perry County will need to watch because it has that confirmation. It could end up moving toward the Perryville area here over the next little bit. A tornado warning now over western Perry County until about 10 o'clock Central Time. So not a good setup. Again, okay, we got a tornado on the ground in St. Mary now. It's going to update on our radar here in just a moment. I know I have relatives in that area, so I'm trying to keep everybody up to date here, folks. That is not what I want to hear, though, at all. There in towards St. Mary. Again, we're going to see that pop out in just a second. In fact, let me see if I have that on another source now for you guys here. I'm going to go ahead and pop up. Oh, my goodness. Okay, let's go ahead and see here our other viewpoint. Let me go ahead and pop this up now, folks. Very sober and radar sight, because again, I'm very familiar with this area. As we see a debris signature there around St. Mary. This is a confirmed tornado over the city of St. Mary, just into St. Genevieve County here, folks. That is an obvious signature there of a tornado. So serious thing there in that area. Gonna gather more details. Be back here in just a few minutes. Stay tuned, everybody. Stay safe out there. Back with you now here in the Weather Center, still gathering more information. A lot of tornadoes here tonight in southeastern Missouri. One there right around St. Mary. A large tornado, the Weather Service now calling, and that debris signature tells the story. Lofting that debris there over 5,000 feet. So that means we've had some pretty significant damage there in the St. Mary area. Let me go ahead and go down to the south now. You can see northeast of Fredericktown. You can see here a circulation pretty tight, folks, and this could be another large tornado moving into toward Perry County, Missouri. So got to be on guard there. And then a tornadic circulation here to the south and west there by a pretty good margin of Fredericktown. But that could be moving there further into Madison County, and then another spin there even near Annapolis. So a lot going on here, folks. And then a spin in Washington County there in Illinois as well. That's radar indicated, but could have a debris signature at any point with this. So gotta be taking those tornado precautions. That means that interior room away from windows, getting as many walls between you and the outside as possible here. So let me go ahead and pop up our tornado warning safety tips. Again, that means when you're under a red or purple polygon, meaning a confirmed tornado has been really seen with this storm that's moving toward your area. You want to seek shelter inside a sturdy building, get as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet here, folks. So a nasty, nasty scenario, my friends. You really need to be taking these storms seriously based on the debris signatures we're seeing now in St. Genevieve County. It looks like a house collapse with a patient trapped now. So we're not going to give the specifics on that on the air, but we're just seeing some different reports come in that are not good, folks, here in the heartland, in southeastern Missouri. Got to be taking things really seriously here tonight, folks. Right now we have, it looks like 7 tornado warnings on the board. I see another one, so now 8 tornado warnings coming out here, all toward the heartland here of our country. And again, we're seeing a situation, for the most part, it has stayed on the lower end of the tornado threat here today. We did see a nasty scenario rise in northern Missouri with one storm that caused a lot of damage, but things really ramping up here in the short term towards southeastern Missouri, getting those parameters, unfortunately, to really come into play here. We're going to go ahead and go back on over now toward our significant tornado parameter view that I'll show you from time to time now. And you can see these parameters here. They're high enough to be mixing here with some of our factors like energy. So really got to just be cognizant of what can happen here this evening. And as we get toward the overnight hours, I'll go ahead and zoom back out as this should become more of a linear scenario. We were hoping it'd be that a little earlier, but that didn't unfortunately transpire here, as the storm's a little more discreet here in nature. And that's led to that higher tornado threat for the time being. As I go ahead and zoom out, a low pressure to the north here, one of those factors here in this scenario. As I go ahead and zoom out even further, I know we have threats toward the west here. So that storm scenario out there, nothing tornadic, of course. But as we get back into this area, we're getting more information in now. That's really sobering, my friends. Really sobering. I'm very familiar with this area, that's why I say that. TDS now, debris signature to 20,000 feet with that St. Mary's storm. Likely significant damage near the town of St. Mary's. St. Mary, excuse me. This is headed in toward Chester, and those in Chester, Illinois, need to take shelter now. So bad thing there as we go back on over toward our other mode here. Serious situation, folks, as we're looking. This is there in an area as we're getting over the state line that folks need to take seriously. So gonna go ahead and gather more information, send some more text out here as I'm going ahead and getting some information there and helping people out here this evening that I know in that area. So gonna go ahead and zoom back out as we gather what is happening there as this evening transpired with a dangerous tornado setup as we're looking towards southeastern Missouri and even also parts of Illinois as well now, as Chester, Illinois under fire. back here in the Weather Center, folks. Really trying to get text out here because something really significant probably just happened there towards St. Mary, Missouri, as we're now getting a tornado emergency coming in toward parts of Illinois now. This is for Chester, a terrible tornado moving in there around Chester. So tornado emergency for Chester, folks. Going to go ahead and take away our tornado warning super because we have to kind of ramp this up now, my friends. Unfortunately, this is now a storm that could be producing catastrophic damage there, as you need to be moving to that interior room or a basement, as this storm is one that you really have to take heed of because the damage can be severe. Got to protect yourself from flying debris by putting on a bicycle helmet. You got to be doing that here in this area because now a tornado emergency. The debris was just so significant based on what happened to the west. They know it's such a strong tornado. The Weather Service in St. Louis has now gone with a tornado emergency for the Chester area there in Illinois. Gotta be taking heed, folks. Time running out there around Chester in Illinois. A violent tornado there right near the city. So get as many walls between you and the outside as possible if you're around Chester. Gonna check some more information behind the scenes now as this situation continues to transpire here. Bad situation on our hands. Again, a tornado emergency around Chester, Illinois, in the heartland there. Just go ahead and take heed of this thread. I know I'm kind of repeating myself a little, but I just want to make sure that we're on our stream, for instance, here. Because we have so many things coming out. I just want to make sure people are able to watch this coverage because a bad situation is transpiring there. It already has transpired around St. Mary and now toward Chester there in Illinois. So gotta be taking heed here. Gotta be taking heed. Again, tornado emergency for the Chester area. Confirmed large and destructive tornado over Chester, moving northeast at about 40 miles an hour. So gotta be taking those tornado precautions here if you're in that area because this could be a matter of life and death here toward Chester, Illinois. Gotta be taking things very seriously here in this area. Again, a really bad situation there toward Chester, Illinois. Now, based on what we saw with that debris signature toward St. Mary, I'm very concerned about what I saw there. And that was just so reflective, maybe, of what was actually happening at the ground level with, I mean, that is a horrific debris signature, folks. Horrific situation towards St. Mary here this evening. I'm afraid. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're seeing something here where it's not quite as bad as it looks on radar, but once we get the reports, I have a bad feeling here that we're going to have a lot of damage toward that area. As I go ahead and zoom back out here, you can see a tornado warning for Perry County, a tornado, maybe a large tornado moving there in toward that Perry County area. Another area there in Madison County there in Missouri. Got to be watching that threat. That's radar indicated stuff right now. But again, a tornado emergency up toward Chester. A very serious scenario ongoing here in this area. We just had something very significant transpire around St. Mary. So I'm going to go ahead and take another break here, folks, as I'm gathering more information in this area. We'll go ahead and zoom back out here as we see this look at things, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes with more details. But if you're in Chester, Illinois, this could be a matter of life and death there toward Randolph County. Confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado there. A deadly tornado is possible in that area. Back with you here in the Weather Center now, getting a lot more information in. Very significant damage around St. Mary, Missouri, and that tornado emergency does continue here as we get in toward Illinois here in Randolph County, Illinois. A confirmed large and destructive tornado now here, not in toward Chester, but more over toward the Bremen area. So this is a tornado emergency now for Bremen as Weather Service. I'm using their words here, folks. Massive damage reported in St. Mary. So very, very bad scenario. Really transpired quickly. That debris signature ramping up. It's not as well defined at the moment because I think debris is spreading out some, but that touchdown right as we get into St. Mary there. Unfortunately, right there over town, you can see here how things really ramped up. So really bad situation there. As that signature moves closer maybe toward even Steelville here over the next little bit into toward Illinois. As we get down toward I-55 here, I-55 into toward Perry County, we're seeing some rotation there. That circulation is going to go maybe on the south side of Perryville here. It's not necessarily on the ground at the moment. They were confirming this is a large tornado a few minutes ago, though, and I wouldn't mess around based on how things ramped up so quickly around St. Mary. So don't mess around in Perryville. Take your tornado precautions as we get down toward the south here, toward Madison County in Missouri. You can see the greens and the reds coming together within the radar algorithm. So a serious situation there in some regard if things ramp up, though it does seem like things are becoming a little more linear. I hope that happens because then we'll be talking more, at least not about a tornado threat, but it could be still a scenario where we have a significant wind threat that knocks out power, that can destroy some buildings, but tornadoes obviously are the ones that destroy a lot of buildings here in these violent situations like what I think we just had over St. Mary there in parts of Missouri. So bad situation, folks. Bad news there as we go back away from this now. Right now, it looks like we have, if I count them up, we have 6 tornado warnings. They're saying they're not going to issue a Steelville tornado emergency right now, but still going to be watching things carefully. A tornado is still possible. Got to be taking those tornado precautions here. So, again, going ahead and zoom in on out now. We're getting reports of numerous trees uprooted and snapped and power poles snapped into toward Madison County, Missouri now. Several metal roofs lifted off of homes there. So, again, bad damage, maybe becoming more linear, which would limit that tornado threat, but it's too late for St. Mary, too late for maybe Chester, depending on how things transpired there. But St. Mary, for sure, how things just came together so quickly in that area. Going to continue to watch things. Tornado watch is still in play here. I'll go ahead and zoom back out just a little bit here, folks, and give you guys the latest information as we have these for a wide range, all the way down to the Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas border there. So we'll go ahead and see what's happening with this situation. The low pressure to the north, we have the pattern here promoting this tornadic action, but once these storms become more linear versus discrete, a tornado threat will be limited. The storms won't be able to feed on all the parameters, but they're still somewhat limited, or excuse me, somewhat more discrete than, let's say, linear right now. So, again, a lot of things going on here in the Weather Center. I'll be back with more in just a few minutes. That tornado emergency technically goes until it looks like a 10 o'clock central, but it won't last that long. But let's see that rotational path here over the St. Mary area over the last little bit. The rotation necessarily didn't strengthen based on this view, but the debris, that rotation did kind of intensify just a little bit right there past the interstate as they got into St. Mary, and then that's when bad things happened. That tornado touched down and really caused significant damage here. Maybe even I don't want to use the word catastrophic without seeing it. So let's just say significant damage right now as we're gathering more information. Emergency manager setting up what to do here in this situation. So going to go ahead and gather more and be back in a few. back with you now here in the Weather Center. Still getting more information in. The storm's definitely becoming more linear now, which will start to reduce that tornado threat some, but you can't lay your guard down here, folks, as we still are watching things under that tornado emergency just got dropped. So let me go ahead and tell you that super off the screen. I know I'm looking at about 5 different screens right now, but again, that tornado emergency just being dropped there for that area. So that's good news, and that's indicative of becoming a scenario where things are more linear in nature, more about damage and winds, more of a local story versus a national story. But I'm afraid what I heard and what I've just noted here towards St. Mary is massive damage, what Weather Service calling it there in Missouri here, folks. Really bad situation. As we go ahead and zoom on out just a little bit, right now we have, it looks like 5 tornado warnings on the board. The storm tornado warnings for Perryville, that's the radar indicated rotation there. The storm towards Steelville, that's radar, even though they were purple for the confirmed tornadoes earlier. These are now all radar indicated tornadoes, not even debris signatures at the moment, it doesn't look like, which is good, but that could change. Let's go ahead and break down all 5 of these. We'll start off near the St. Louis metro area, around the Belleville area here, and I don't know, a possible tornado moving in there. Watching that area as we get southeast of St. Louis. Another possible tornado around Nashville on the way there. This area in Steelville region has really dropped off, but still radar indicated tornado possible. Same with Perryville. I think it's more about damage and wind there, but you couldn't rule out a quick spin up in that area. You just never know what could happen in that vicinity. As we go ahead and go back on over toward the south looking for debris. I don't really see that right now around Perryville, but we'll continue to watch things here as we're looking southeast of the town, east of the interstate there, and then toward Madison County in Missouri here. Watching some broad and weak rotation. But again, this is becoming more linear, which is good news. Still could have damage around Perryville, don't get me wrong, but this is more about damage and winds versus tornadoes here in this area right now. But we're going to gather more information, take a break, see what else is coming in, and if we see maybe a situation where things aren't as bad, we'll wrap up the coverage here at that point here for the time being. back here in the Weather Center to go ahead and wrap up the coverage for now as things again become more linear, but it's still a situation you need to follow those local meteorologists if you're watching from this area, or if you have relatives like me in this area. Make sure you're just kind of follow along with the weather story here up there toward parts of eastern Missouri and toward parts of Illinois here, as well as we have radar indicated tornadoes right now, but I know a lot of damage did occur from a obvious tornado there towards St. Mary there, as the Weather Service was warning for just a little while ago there in Missouri. So a dangerous scenario. Tornado warning still for east central Randolph County in Illinois until about 10 o'clock Central Time. Tornado warning for western Perry County in Missouri till 10 o'clock Central, including Perryville. Then we have a tornado warning for northeastern St. Clair County in Illinois until about 10:15 local time. It looks like central Madison until about, it looks like 10 o'clock, and then Clinton and Washington there until about, it looks like 9:45 Central there in Illinois. So again, that pretty much sums it up there. I know we have that big thread off toward the west with that, what you can kind of call an atmospheric river. So let's go ahead and kind of give you guys an update on that before we wrap things up for the time being. Eventually, we're going to have to be watching the weather scenario kind of move closer to North Florida and South Georgia with storminess here. I know there's some rain across North Florida right now, so let me go ahead and punch that up first, and then we'll go on over to our other viewpoints. So here's the local radar. You see some rain. I know we actually had some. We were chasing near Orlando earlier today, but we haven't had any warnings, not expecting any severe weather around here. And then as again we kind of go across the country now, you see the storminess in the heartland, and then we get on over toward the west coast. You'll be able to see here it's got some marine warnings, quite a few of those as our radar loads on in now. And the winds here, as I go ahead and punch those up now, you'll kind of get an idea of what's going on. Some really strong winds here with the pressures really low here, what you would see in a hurricane even. So really bad weather. Some people having to evacuate there in coastal areas even, just based on the overall situation with that extreme low pressure being the story there, causing problems in toward that area. So again, watching things toward the heartland as well, where we still have tornado warnings and still something you got to take heed of and follow locally. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this up right now here and be back tomorrow with a full update and the normal time range toward that late afternoon, unless something else that warrants us to come on with coverage here. Going to that tornado emergency for Chesterfield. The worst damage looks to have occurred near St. Mary there proper in parts of southern St. Genevieve County there in the heartland. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for just trusting me here, as this is a very bad scenario for some spots here. And just again, have a great night if you can, but make sure you're monitoring the weather situation if you have relatives in this area.